And just like that, it's a wrap on Season 1 of the Head Wrap Socialite, everybody. I hope that you all have enjoyed listening to all of the guests that I've introduced you to thus far. As we close this first season, I wanted to share with you some outtakes and different pieces of the interviews from Season 1 that have touched my heart, caused me to laugh out loud, ponder life, and things, well, that just made my heart smile. I can't wait to share with you the upcoming guests coming to the studio in Season 2, which starts next week. Don't forget to like, share, and follow this podcast. And once again, thank you for coming along on this wonderful journey with me. In gratitude, the Head Wrap Socialite.
How long the procedure takes.
Yes.
It all...
My dog just had gas. We got to take that out. Silas, go sit down.
Right at me, too.
Nancy, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Okay. Sorry.
We've had children. We've had pets. We know how these things go.
Sorry.
Can't time these things.
Sorry. All right, I got to bring it back.
Pull yourself together,
Got to pull
Trina.
together.
And I forgot what I was talking about.
I think you were going to say, how long?
Oh, the procedure, yes.
Greetings and happy Monday to you, ma'am.
Hey, Uncle Kev, what's going on? Oh, happy Monday. Thanks for agreeing to join me on this podcast.
Of course. I watched the one with Noah and Rachel, which is cool. I was like, man, Noah is grown with Rachel in the DC area, just living their lives. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
They're doing their thing.
Did some icebreakers, kind of met each other. And one of the things is we stood around in a circle and we played this icebreaker game, passing like a ball back and forth. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking across the circle and seeing this, this redheaded girl on crutches. And, I just thought, she was very beautiful and, I really would love the chance to meet her and talk to her and, maybe something would happen, maybe something wouldn't. But, and then the second night that I think that we really started talking and hanging out the first time was all Rachel's doing. So
yeah,
do tell.
I love swimming. So my best friend from high school came to Loyola as well, and she was in the community, and she lived down the hall, and we were chatting, and we were like, let's try to get a bunch of people to go jump in the lake, because the campus is right on the lake, and there's a bunch of little strips of beaches near our dorms. So we found a few people who were like, yeah, okay, like it's a little chilly out, but let's do it. And as we were walking to the beach by us, I saw Noah just heading back. I don't know where he was coming from. He was walking back to our dorms, and I stopped him and I said, hey, yeah, we're all going to jump in the lake if you want to come with. And he kind of hesitated for a second. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I didn't know he wasn't much of a swimmer, much of a water guy, but he definitely fooled me that night, because he came and we were all hanging out, swimming in the dark in the lake, and it was super fun. And that was kind of like one of the first moments I had, I think, with him, where I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool kid. Like I want to get to know him, and we really became good friends.
Can meet someone and be friends with them who don't even speak the same language you do, but you can wander the streets of Paris with them for almost a whole summer and have a wonderful time. So as I think about all those experiences, and just that one comes to mind, my summer in Paris.
That's how I got my first trip to Paris. It wasn't because I was designing. It was because of a designer by the name of Jean-Paul Gaultier had seen me dancing in a club in New York City and invited me to come to Paris to be in one of his shows.
Wow.
And so that's how I ended up in Paris.
there are experiences at every point in our lives, whether they were really great or not so great, that we can pull from and use today to better ourselves, but also to help our children.
You are someone whom I call Coach Carl, but most importantly, you're someone whom I consider and call my friend in the auspices of life. Carl, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, Trina, thank you for having me. That's probably one of the nicest introductions I've ever received, so thank you. So as you said, my name is Carl, and I'm a strength and conditioning coach at Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. That's how we've got to know each other. Outside of that, though, I'm a father to two beautiful daughters. They are 8 and 6 years old, and they fill up a lot of my life and my time. So very proud dad. Been at Mayo for 9 years as a performance coach. Had some really cool opportunities to meet a lot of awesome people, and really neat experiences working with high school students as well at various schools. So I'm actually from Rochester. I was up in the cities, and I was working at a private hockey training facility with pro level hockey players as a performance coach, and junior level hockey, high school, youth, all the way down to 5 years old. And kind of cut my teeth on coaching there. Prior to that, I was an athlete as a competitive track and field, shot put, and discus athlete.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yes. So I did that I pursued a dream that was planted in my mind in high school. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think I'd wind up back in Rochester. I spent 18 years here. And was excited to, I didn't venture too far away. Went to the University of Minnesota, track and field, had a scholarship to compete. And, high school, it was football, basketball, and field. And prior to that, baseball as a kid growing up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So if I were to say to you the numbers 2017, does that mean anything to you?
2017?
Nope. It could be 2017.
Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, those numbers. Yeah, discus.
Yes.
Wow, you did your research.
Yes. So fill the listeners on to why that number is so unique to you.
Well, you surprised me with that one. 201 feet 7 inches is the distance that I threw the discus in high school, my senior year, and that is an all-time state best for Minnesota.
That's awesome.
So I think I still hold that. Anticipating that will go down in the near future. Not too broken.
There is one interview that I did see that you did, and you said, I hope one day that record is broken. What did you mean by that? Because a lot of people, they hope their record stands the test of time. Why did you say that?
I think it's just the reality that it will be broken. I think if there's an individual out there that's, set their sights, set their goals on, being the best that they can be. And that's where it's a fun sport. And, I hope that somebody else gets to have a, unique experience.
I started traveling when I was working for the federal government. So it was part of my job, and I had to go and train people. So I've been to Puerto Rico, Hawaii, different parts of Germany, Panama. I've been to Greece. Japan.
India.
Yeah, well, India was not job related. India, I'll tell you a little bit about India, but the other places I've been to is Jamaica, leisure travel, and Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic. And that was with our cousin Latice for her graduation.
Oh, that's awesome. Hello, Latice.
But India in 2019, the lady that works for my husband, she's the bookkeeper, her daughter getting married over in India. And they wanted Steve and I to go. And Steve did not want to go. Steve said, well, you can go. I said, okay, then you can pay for it.
I love it.
So that happened.
Thank you,
and
for that adventure.
Yes. And I tell you, I did it, and I did it alone. And this was the first place that I've ever traveled alone.
Wow.
It
Were you
was
scared?
scary.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from the time I started out, it was a great adventure. I also wrote The Chronicles of India by Rhonda Clark.
Oh
I
my
have to
God.
send that to you. And it was all about my trip.
Since we started 2023,
Right.
I actually have dedicated time every single day to do some reading, and I feel like I'm better for it. It really calms my brain. It slows me down, different mindset. And so I love it. Yeah, I've been turning those pages at night, and I honestly say I think I'm even sleeping a little better.
We would take buckets.
Mhm.
I had friends, yeah, and you remember Delmar
Yeah.
and Boo Boo, Eugene.
I do.
Yeah, we would take buckets and sticks and things like that. We would go and try and catch crayfish and minnows,
Mhm.
and just basically just walk the creek all day and just explore and see what we could find. And it was like a nature walk. We were outdoors, so it was fun.
What's that place
No.
called? D'Angelo's. Remember D'Angelo's, the sub shop?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember it. But yeah, that was not my. that was not my hangout. That was just like hole in the wall, hole in that place next to our, in air quotes, Kappa House. The, whatever it was called on Thayer Street.
Yeah, what was on? Yeah, what's that?
Hole in the wall. I think I wanted Hot Pockets, Hole in the Wall, something like that.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I remember long days to always go and Rob. But I had a man. I had to figure it out. Yeah, because I was off campus too. I was like, yo, I got that box of spaghetti in there. I got me some sauce.
Right?
And I could stretch that. Let me see, I could stretch that out.
Oh my
Eat
God.
that all this week. Yo, and then ramen. Ramen.
Yo,
Ramen was the thing. Yeah, it's like, yo, that's it right there. I ain't had no meat. I don't know where I got protein because I ain't had no meat. I just had pasta. I ain't had rice, pasta, and sauce. There you go. And growing up in Wilmington, we call it yacht.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what did you call it again? What was it called?
Yacht.
Yacht?
Yacht.
Yacht?
Spaghetti noodles with soy sauce.
Ooh.
But well, you say ooh, but I mean it wasn't fancy like.
There was no internet. There was no iPhones, and we had one phone.
Yeah.
And that was on the wall.
In my study, I have tons of books on my nightstand, tons of books. And sometimes, my husband gets mad because he's like, I'm tripping over all these books.
Yeah, I've heard some of those conversations.
How can you possibly have like 5 to 10 books going? And it's just the way my mind works. Like I can't just stop at one. Like if we talk today and you tell me that, oh my goodness, I'm reading this book and it sounds super interesting, I'm like, oh, I got to add this to my list, right? And it's not that I have to finish it in a particular time, but it's like, okay, let me just add this. Let me just add this to my nightstand, and then the list grows, and the book pile grows, and and then my husband just shakes his head at me and
It's
like,
funny
okay.
that you mentioned that because I know a couple of times we've been on like our video calls talking about books, and he has come in and he's been like, "Oh yeah, like I don't even want to hear about it. Like she has books all over the place. Who does that? Who has?"
There's like one thing that I would probably be a hoarder of. It would probably be books, and you'll.
Oh,
probably,
I'm right there with you. Oh, and you know what? I have a secret about that too. Well,
Okay.
it's not really a secret, but I don't know. Have you ever in your community? Do they have those little free libraries? So they're like little boxes that people decorate and they make it their own. Sometimes people have them like in front of their homes, and sometimes they're like, so like there's an app that you can look like by your zip code to see how many little free libraries are in your community. And for the most part, they're pretty accurate. I mean, there are people who put them up that they don't actually register them, but now that I'm mentioning it, you might be more aware. Sometimes they're also, like if you have like a local cafe, sometimes they will even create their own little free.
just, it's crazy. I mean, it's the same thing as your girls. I
Yeah.
honestly still see them pushing each other around in strollers. Like, no.
Yeah, and you got all those boys, so that's a different situation. At least you can kind of sort of keep your house clean. You can start to patch up holes in the walls,
I was
stuff
just going to
like
say,
no.
the holes, that's where they get me. I was like, how much rage can you have from a video game where you're just like kicking? No. Like, don't let me tell your father.
and then Jay comes and jumps in, and you're like, you know what? You're not any help in this situation. All of y'all get out. Everybody get out of the house. Everybody.
Exactly. Just kicking everybody out.
No, but it's good to see that you have raised these amazing boys turning into young men.
Totally enjoyed this time that we have spent honestly together. Like, this has been the highlight of my day. I can't.
Oh, you have a really boring day.
Oh my gosh, whatever. You just bring so much joy and happiness and just, I don't know, just an overwhelming peace that I feel when, like, seriously, when my spirit connects to your spirit.
Well, and it's equal for me also.
I just love you. I do. And
thank you. I love you too, Trina.
So glad that you have been a part of my journey. And there are so many wonderful things that honestly that I can say about you and the gifts that you and your husband and even your children have brought to our lives. Just you have enriched them by just knowing you. I am so glad that God has placed us on the same path.
And I feel the same about you and your family.